Okay, so I'm going to show you how to how to follow the instructions in the first assignment, one SketchUp tutorial, cube and SketchUp logo. So first we're going to draw a 3-foot cube next to the image of Temple Grandin. We will select the rectangle tool, we will click once on the ground, let go, and then we won't click again. We will type in the dimensions as it shows here to set the size of the cube. Then we will use the push-pull tool to pull it up, and without clicking we will set the dimensions for the cube as well. So this shows you how to use the rectangle tool, the push-pull tool, and also how to set dimensions. So let's do that now. All right, here's my rectangle tool over here. The default is whatever is shown here, but if you want to make sure, you can always just click on it again. So I'm going to draw. I clicked, I let go, I'm moving my mouse, and now down in the lower right corner you're going to see the numbers change. So in the lower right corner where it says dimensions, you can see the numbers changing a lot as I move my mouse around. If I do click again, I will set the rectangle to be whatever dimensions, random dimensions they are. But if I want to tell it a certain size, I can type in 3 apostrophe for feet, and then comma, 3 apostrophe for feet. So now it says 3 feet, 3 feet, and those are the dimensions, the width and the length dimensions for my square. I'm going to press return. Oops, I waited too long. I'll do it again. 3 feet, comma, 3 feet, return. And now my square is exactly 3 by 3. I'm going to go to my push-pull tool, which is over here. And again, the default is whatever is shown here. And I'm going to click. You notice when I scroll over, the surface becomes dotted or stippled. That shows me that this is the surface that I'm selecting. If you don't see the surface become dotted or like this, that means you are not going to be pushing or pulling that surface. So you always want to make sure that the dotted surface is actually the one that you want. So I'm going to click once, I'm going to let go, bring it up. I could click again randomly, but I want to make it exactly 3 feet. So I'm going to type in 3 apostrophe, oops, 3, and press return. And now you can see down here, I typed in 3 feet. That's what it is, and it's a nice cube. That's it for tutorial 1. Let's go on to tutorial 2. That's it for the cube. Let's go on to the logo. So let's talk about navigation. There's orbit, that's where you rotate it. There's pan, where you move it back and forth, and then different zooms. So I'll show you those over here. They're all down here. If you click on it, you can see orbit at the top, pan there, different types of zooms here. The orbit tool, if you click and hold the mouse and move it around, it allows you to just kind of rotate around. You can orbit. It doesn't let you go all the way around, so if you want to keep going, you can let go, click somewhere else again, and keep rotating, right? You can also do this with a mouse by clicking the center wheel. The pan tool allows you to move back and forth. You can also do this with a mouse by pressing shift and clicking the center wheel. And then the zooms. This allows you to zoom out or in. This one allows you to select what you want to zoom in on. So if I select this, it will zoom to that. And then the fit to window, if I click this, it will zoom. So if I, scroll way out, if I click this, hey, how come it's not doing it? If I click this, it'll zoom to just whatever is in whatever I've modeled so far. Okay. So that's the controls. Instructor panel, if you're confused about a certain tool, you can click on the tool and click on instructor, and it'll give you information about that tool. All right, let's go to the logo. All right, so first thing we're going to do, we're going to draw a cube. So I'm just going to start with the cube that I just drew. And we are going to first select the rectangle tool, draw our cube. It doesn't give you dimensions, it just says make it look like a cube. Okay, so it doesn't really matter how big this one is, it doesn't tell you dimensions. Then we're going to choose a rectangle tool. We're going to click on the corner, then draw a square. We want it to say on face square. Click again on the corner, and then click to finish it. Then we'll draw another square by clicking on the corner, move it till it says on face square, and click again. Then we'll use the push-pull tool to move them down. Okay, so let's do that now. Rectangle tool, I'm going to orbit it so I can see the top better. Click. On face square, I want it to be about 1/3 of the way across the diagonal or each side. Click to finish it. That's my first square. I'm going to draw the bigger one. Click on the corner. It says on face square and it looks about even. Click to finish. Now I'm going to rotate it again so I can see the sides better. I'm going to click on my push-pull tool, and then I'm going to move this down 2/3 of the way, move this down 1/3, and now I have this nice step box. And I finished that tool. Now we're going to paint it. We're going to select the paint tool. We're going to click red or choose red, and then we're just going to click on all the faces that we want red. We're going to keep the top face gray. You'll need to orbit it so you can be sure to paint the back as well. So click here, and then I'm going to click red. Side, 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 everything except the top. Now I've got to orbit, so I can do this. Keep orbiting, so I can do that. Keep orbiting to do the bottom. And now everything is red except for the top. And I'm good. All right, let's see what comes next. Now we have to make sure that it will be 3D printable. We will not be 3D printing this model, but we want to know how to do this for when we do. It has to be solid. We don't want there to be, it has to be quote unquote watertight. So first you're going to select everything and make it a group. Right now, this model is just a collection of different features that I did one at a time. To make it so that it is all one object, so that the computer recognizes it as one object, we have to make it a group. So we're going to go to our select tool and we're going to click and drag a rectangle around it. It'll select everything inside this rectangle. And now I have to right click. If you have a mouse, you right click. If you don't have a mouse and you just have a laptop, if you click with 2 fingers at the exact same time, it should show you the same thing. Sometimes it can be kind of tricky to click with both at the same time, but if you practice, you'll do it. So right click, click make group. Now you can see that it's recognizing this as one group because it's got it all kind of enclosed in this frame. Once it's a group, then you're going to click on Entity Info and make sure that it's a solid group. Okay, so we'll go here, and it says solid group, so we're good. If you didn't already do that, what you do is you click here and Entity Info, solid group. So we're good. Then if your model is not solid, you can do this, but I've never had that happen with this, so I don't think you'll need to worry about it. Right, so the last thing to do is to scale it down. Remember that Temple Grandin is about 5 feet 9 inches, and so we will need to make this not as big as Temple Grandin. So it says if you click on the Move tool, that's how we're going to scale it. You can move it in different ways. So if I click on this is Move, this is Rotate, this is Scale actually. Let me just make sure that it shows you that you need to do that. Yeah, okay, great. So Scale. If we click on just an edge green thing, it's going to allow me to scale it like this or like this. Okay, I'm going to undo. If I click on a center, it'll just allow me to scale it up or down. I'm going to undo. And if I click on a corner, it'll only allow me to make the whole thing bigger or smaller. Okay, so different ways of scaling. If you want to just shrink it in one direction or the other direction, you can do that. So this is like fully, all sorts of directions you can move it. But we want it to stay proportional to how it was, but just scale it down. To print it, we would want it to be, here I'm going to zoom in, we would want it to be about the same size as like, I don't know, maybe like a third of this foot. So let's make it small. We don't want to print a huge thing. And then to make sure that it's the right size, we can use our tape measure. And we can just measure from here to here. Or you can just click on the side. Okay, it's about 3/4 inch. So that seems about right. Okay, yep. And that is it for this tutorial. That's how to do the logo and the box.